Hello and welcome. It is the 29th day of May 2019. My name is Derek. Welcome to the Money Charts channel. All bets, trades, and of the like. Well, that's within each his own risk and their own reward. But I'm not talking about, oh, let's talk about buying this, selling this, or I think this is going to do this or do that. No, rather, I feel like complaining about BTC transfer cost. 50,000 Satoshi to take it off pretty much every exchange that I'm aware of right now, and that's not many. That's one handful of them, and it's still shy, not counting my thumb. So upon the four exchanges that I have recently been on, 50,000 to get it off. At 100,000 Satoshi, that'd be $8.70. So it's half of that, $4.35. And I'm kind of wondering if that price is going to go up or not, because it might, and it might very soon. And it's already expensive as it is. For the act of, if you want to send 25 bucks from one exchange to another, and you're going to lose like, well, 20% of it instantly just for the transaction ID fee or the transaction transfer fee. That's just insane. And then if you're trying to move $100 in there, now you're paying a 5% fee. $1,000, well, now you're only talking a half a percent fee. But you're still talking about paying around $5 for what could be a lot cheaper. If looking at this, and I don't know how accurate this information is, for recently, this is a 3-month chart of average Bitcoin transactions. We can see here March 29th. I mean, this is 50 cents right in here, this top in here, that was resistance all the way up until just before April was 50 cents as the average transaction. Now we can see the number on the top is 5. So since the resistance point to the most close to the next current one, well, it's done almost 10 times higher, from piercing above a half to piercing below 5 for the average fee. And we're talking about $3,000 prices tripling. So if it's doing like more than 9 times, then it's doing more than triple cost against the Satoshi. I got here priced in US dollar. Can I price it in BTC like Satoshi cost? That's the actual Bitcoin price itself. Okay. I like to see this priced against the Bitcoin Satoshi. The way of doing that is getting this data, finding the transaction fee, finding it with the Bitcoin price, and then doing the conversion. Then you can find out what the Satoshi fee is. But this is a case of it costing more and more Satoshi to send out Bitcoin. So now it's getting to the case here. We see resistance at 5. This line is at 2. This support line is 275. So support has been between 2 and 3, it seems. And resistance has been a hair under 5. This point was 422. So low 4s to the rest of the 4s is resistance. Now I know what a lot of exchanges will do is they'll send out like I think 60 or 70 or 80 or 100 withdrawals at one time, which means that it would probably cost them a little bit less. It costs them a lot to send more because if you want to send out 50 grand worth of Bitcoin, it's going to cost a decent amount. But percentage wise per dollar, it keeps getting cheaper. The more you send, the more it costs. But this thing could have a major break. I got this on 3 months. If I go for the year, okay, well, it's at highs last seen in 2018 all time. And I don't need any of that data because then I can see this clearly. This number says a 60 on top. And if we just scroll into what happened at this top, on December 20th, 21st, ooh, that's expensive. 22nd, 55. 23, 52. 24th, 43, a little cheaper on Christmas Eve. Christmas Day, only $41. Boxing Day, 44, and then we go all the way down to New Year's Eve to $25. So it worked its way back lower, but it got really expensive. If we put it in perspective right now, we are like 11, 12 times cheaper to send Bitcoin. And Bitcoin was at December 21st, was what, 16,000 maybe? Now we stand, we'll even say 18,000, although it probably was at 16, just to say it's half off. So if we had half the fees, we'd be talking 27 now. This was an exuberant time. And going to the 3 month, again, we can see the ratio differences. Just from the moves in here, you go from a high of 48, a 0.48 to 2.16. 4 point extra X, 4.5X move. And Bitcoin, to do a 4.5X move from its 3,100 lows, well, we need to be like around 13, 14,000. And this is well above those lows and well below where we are at 9,000. In fact, that was like 5,000 Bitcoin back in this point here. So for me to get funds off of and to another exchange, today I decided I wanted to take some Bitcoin off of Coin Exchange. So I managed to see Ethereum Classic was it works good on bull market days like today, because I was able to buy some ETC about 1.5% cheaper than its price, send it to Binance, sell it there. Bitcoin Cash, same thing. It was about 1.5% or two cheaper. Bought it, sent it on the blockchain, and sending coins like ETC doesn't cost much. Sending Bitcoin Cash doesn't cost much at all. And that makes it not only easier but more fun to send currencies from one place to another, which is why I highly prefer to not trade coins consistently against Bitcoin, rather ratio trade whichever ones together. This morning, I seen Theta have a spectacular move to the upside. This was a coin that was going higher. I sold it at 1,800. Has its retracement. Of course, it doesn't hit Fibonacci, but hey, whatever. Adjusting the message of the market, it's going back up again. I went to my wallet where I have my Theta, and I sent it to my Binance exchange, bought Dash, and I sent the Dash off. Now, Dash is a little expensive on there, but it's one of the ones that you just have to take, I guess, as it's in the area of, I'm trying to think of the math. It's twice the cost of Litecoin, and right now Litecoin's like 11 cents, or 11 cents, yeah, so that doubles it to 22. And then Dash is like over twice as expensive, so it's about 50 cents or 48 cents to take Dash off. Whatever. Not too expensive. Cost of doing business is what I'll look at that as. For Binance, they need revenue sources, and they should profit on that. Of course, $6 per. Of course, they have no choice but to charge a lot in Bitcoin, but transfer fees get too expensive. But for me, it was like no problem. Now, sending Theta Fuel cost me 0.00001 Theta Fuel, which was like well over 10 billionth of my supply, which is like nothing. And they were given to me for free. So technically, not only does it not cost me anything to send Theta, but they gave me the coins in advance that are worth extra funds to pay for it anyway. Theta's got me a nice move on the 15. Go Theta, go. That's what I like to do that way. You have the trading fees small, the transfer times fast. I just don't think Bitcoin's going to make it on the long-term time frame. I don't know about cryptos in general. See, I look at this as cryptos going to nothing. Now, that's really the ultimate risk in playing this game. But are they going to zero? And when I say zero, I mean what's happening next. Bitcoin well exceeding 20,000. So we'll say Bitcoin 100,000 or Bitcoin zero. What's more likely to happen next? And I'm thinking most certainly Bitcoin 100,000. And obviously, I'm trading in such a view because of that. And I say that because, well, if Bitcoin gets to 100,000 and more, whatever else on top of that, and then eventually later on goes to zero, well, it's how much did I make and how much did I lose? How much did I lose during its fall to zero from what I had invested, and how much did I profit take during these great runs to make it worthwhile? So therefore, I look at it as in a case where it's got something's got to give at some point. But people right now love Bitcoin. Bitcoin is traded and being bought and so aggressively right now. There's a lot of talk about it, that the people just love it and everything. So the problem amongst the people whining like myself, I'm not really whining, complaining, sure, whatever, about Bitcoin prices being too expensive. Well, I haven't heard too many people talking about that, but it's a difficult challenge to transfer it in the wallets. It was easy during the bear market, during like October, November, December, January. I mean, December 31st, it was like 4 cents or something. It was sick. And then January, it was so cheap to move Bitcoin. It was like, oh, I need to move Bitcoin to my exchange. I need to say, just for simple things like, let's move Bitcoin to Bittrex or Binance to buy something. And then I'm looking at the fee like 15 cents or 20 cents a lot of those days. It's like, yeah, whatever. So be it. Now I'm looking at the fee, and last time I looked a couple days ago, it said a couple dollars. Now I haven't checked today. I normally don't check. And I normally don't send much these days because, of course, the higher costs. I'm going to finish off by talking about the Model T. And I don't mean the Model T Trezor, but that's an interesting aspect that they name their wallet, their hardware wallet, a Model T. Back in the time frames when that car came out in the early 1900s, um, did you think that was going to be the car that was going to make it as we move on? It was the first real design that the people used and people drove. But what other car were you going to drive back then when that was the ones that were available? And then people look at that car. It's a brand new innovation. We never had them before. How do we? What can we do? What sucks about it, and what can we do to make it better? And that's what I feel is happening within the crypto space and Bitcoin. What sucks about cryptos? What sucks about Bitcoin? How can you make it better? Which is why when I look at 2029, I don't know if there's a better chance that Bitcoin and between of some of the Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, Digibyte, and Binance Coin, and whatever coins you can imagine that's currently at right now. I don't know what's more likely, if any or some of those coins will be very valuable in 2029 as the key coins, or if there'll be other digital electronic forms that have not even been made or created yet that will be more powerful. But that's why every single day it's always going to be adjusting to what the message of the market tells me and go from there, because it's kind of pointless right now for me to work towards investing on things that haven't even been discovered yet, if that's what's going to be the case. Overall, as far as investing portfolio, I look at cryptos, precious metals, and fiat dollars. Obviously, we live in a world where you create that dollars through income and revenue sources, and you have no choice but to pretty much use that for a majority of trade. That's it's just something you have to have. And then you got cryptocurrencies, which are conveniently becoming very easy, at least for myself, to be able to use in method of trade as well, sort of like how you would fiat currency. Something, a vehicle that can be very easily be used to try to increase its value, thus the trading game that I talk about. So that's got a nice little incentive in that towards wanting it there. And then precious metals. What happens if fiat currencies go down to oblivion? Because, well, it's been 10 plus years, 12 years of good information of what a fiat currency means that's been available on YouTube. So if the thing were to whole collapse on itself starting today, I don't see it as a fast one. I say it's about time. But when something's due to happen and overdue to happen, you should continue that. If it's something's very overdue, then the expectation to continue wait a while more could easily be in play. And a situation comes where fiats go down because, oh, they're backed by nothing, and then cryptos go down because it's so cheap, even though it's got the decentralization and it's got all these great things. The bottom line is, um, there it's physically it just goes down for whatever reason. I don't care about the reason, just the fact that it goes down. And then you got physical precious metals. See, if those both go down, I don't see any outcome where precious metals does not have substantial gains, because what else would come into play? With some sort of new digital currency? Well, keep your eyes open on a day to day, week by week basis on stuff like that, because I see nothing close, at least from my end, of anything towards that nature. All right, then. Thank you for tuning in and have yourself a great day. Bye bye.